Alright, Shalom Hebrews, Shalom Hebrews. This is Israel being Israel for the Israelite Brotherhood. I'm finna do this video on these dudes trying to keep us in bondage. Yes, we can stay in bondage, and you can stay in the mental bondage, in the physical bondage, in the spiritual bondage. You know what I'm saying? You can stay in the spiritual bondage. And then that's what these dudes trying to keep us in. See what I'm saying? Because it was the Egyptian culture and the Egyptian religion that made us go into slavery. You know, if you do all your research, you know, we've been trying to put it together since we've been in the Americas. And, you know, everybody know that we was brung from, you know, what they call Africa to the Western Hemisphere, you know, to the four corners of the earth, Europe, Africa, South America, and the United States, you know, and we was brung here to those parts for our enslavement. And it's a known fact that America have all the Egyptian symbols and stuff, and I'm gonna explain this. And one of the main Egyptian symbol that's here let you know that we are in the Egypt that Prophet Moses said that the Hebrews would be taken to, and it was for certain because the Creator said that we will break the covenant. Well, okay, us breaking the covenant for Egyptian religion, then it's common sense that we should stay away from everything that's Egypt, because it was the Egyptian culture and the Egyptian religion and the Egyptian heritage that caused us to lose our covenant. And I will prove this. And it was a state of mind for the Hebrews. You know, we was on Egyptian culture for a long time. You know, as I got in those city videos explaining how this dude General City and Pharaoh and how these guys is real wicked. Even this dude Merkaba, the real Merkaba, or whatever he called himself, he a real wicked person. Listen to this devil.
That this is the case, that, you know, what people in the conscious community is trying to argue is that the real true God is the Egyptian gods.
That's all need to come out of his mouth. He said that the Egyptian gods are the real gods. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is a person that's descended from the transatlantic slave trade. Now, these guys is getting rich. These guys is getting rich by pushing the Egyptian culture. If you want to sell out and what they say, sell your soul to the devil, all you have to do is embrace some Egyptian culture, because the people who control the system that we Hebrews abandoned our heritage to control the Egyptian system. You know, they controlled the Egyptian system through the Greek Empire and the Romans. You know, they ain't never lost control of it. And they used they Masonic created lodges as the architects, the guys, the people who go in and set the Egyptian system up, as this country was founded on those principles. You see what I'm saying? This is the Egypt that the Creator said we Hebrews will be taken to. And I'm going to prove that. And these individuals that's pushing that Egyptian heritage is trying to keep us damned. You know what I'm saying? Now, this individual here, he got a good con game, a real good con game. He cuss and he's vulgar and he's all that. And he's a well-read person and he's real slick with his knowledge. You know, he done figured out that them Jews would pay him if he can push that Egyptian system and help keep us in a mental captivity. You see what I'm saying? Because the Creator was against the Egyptian system. Pharaoh did not believe in the Creator. And I can prove this too. Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. And I'm going to show this. If you go to Exodus 5. Exodus 5. Man, it's awful, Hebrews. It's awful. But some of us got to wake up. Somebody got to stand up. And them other Hebrew organizations, them camps, they ain't finna show this history because they on a Jewish religion. You know what I'm saying? They teach Jewish myths and try to pass it off as Israelite history. You know, but if you look at Exodus 5, Exodus 5, the prophet Moses went in there quite a few times to ask old wicked Pharaoh to let us go. You know what I'm saying? That we can go out of Egypt to worship the creator of the Hebrews. You see what I'm saying? And Pharaoh said, "No, who is this creator that I should let, the children of Israel go?" You see? And then you go to Exodus 5, and it says, "Afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, This said the Elohim Yah of Israel, Let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, Who is the Elohim that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Elohim, neither will I let Israel go." And this verses throughout, Exodus showed that Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. You see what I'm saying? And that's like one time we asked Pharaoh to let us go, and Pharaoh said, "No, you don't have to leave here, but you can worship your God here in Egypt." And Moses said, "Man, you know that them Egyptians gonna stone us if we worship our Creator here, which is an abomination to y'all, that y'all gonna stone us." You see what I'm saying? So Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, and each time that prophet Moses, went there and asked Pharaoh to let us go, he said, "Let the children Israel go, let the Hebrews go, that they can go worship their Creator." You know what I'm saying? And we worship the Creator. The Egyptians did. The Egyptians had all kind of images and representations of the Creator, explaining it from a nature point of view. And the Egyptians had lost their way. If they had the Creator at one time, they lost it, just like them Amorite tribes did. The people that founded Jerusalem, the Jebusites. It's a lot going on, Hebrews, but these dudes is major wicked, trying to get us to embrace the Egyptian culture and religion. This dude say that he went and took an oath in front of the Egyptian Pharaoh's temple. You see what I'm saying? How more wicked can you get than that? Look.
And when I went to Kemet, man, when I first went, I didn't really know what I was gonna see. I had only the things what was told me. But when I got there and I seen all of the destruction that happened to our sacred temples and our holy land, and I seen the enemy still upon my land. You understand what I'm saying? I took my oath at the Grand Lodge of Waset. I stood in front of my brothers and sisters, and I stood at that temple where all priests were raised up in the Nile Valley. And I took my oath.
He was at the same place. He was at the same place where they held us in captivity. And he was at the same place where Pharaoh tricked Joseph and gave Joseph Asenath, the priest of On's daughter. The priest of On, their whole system was in jeopardy when Joseph answered Pharaoh's dreams, and told Pharaoh what was going to happen. And then Pharaoh immediately gave him the priest of On's daughter. You know what I'm saying? Asenath. And, Pharaoh's magicians or none of them couldn't answer none of Pharaoh's dreams. And he was real trouble because he know something serious finna go down. Well, the Hebrew interpret Pharaoh's dream and was able to save the people as well as ourselves. All that was an act in the work of the Creator. Okay, Pharaoh gonna give Joseph Asenath, the priest of On daughter, and from that union 2 sons were born, Manasseh and Ephraim. It could be shown that Ephraim descended from Jeroboam, worshipped the Egyptian religion, and that Jeroboam brung those 2 golden calves out on us after Solomon's death. You see, Hebrews, there's a lot of history that, the Bible, the Tanakh basically record our sins and how we interacted with the other nations. Well, basically, that's still going on today. You know what I'm saying? And we broke the covenant fooling with the Egyptian religion. And these dudes trying to push that Egyptian culture on us, that black power culture. I'm going to tell you how the devil do it. this is how the devil do it. You know, the devil know that we kind of messed up a little bit and that we kind of traumatized from being in slavery and stuff, and then we kind of traumatized from not being the people that we supposed to be. Okay, this is what them devils will do. They'll go show you some pictures of the Egyptians. Now, you see these black folks up on the wall now. You see plain as day, these are black people on the wall that these Egyptians showing. And the Egyptians will say, no, they ain't black. They ain't black. And then we'll say, they is black. The Egyptians is black. And then the white folks will say, no, they ain't black. And then we'll say, they is black because we can see the images of the Egyptians black. And then guess what? We'll say, we the Egyptians, because the white folks trying to keep us from claiming our Egyptian heritage. You see what I'm saying? That's what they did, and that's the trick. You see what I'm saying? That's the trick right there. Because we broke the covenant worshiping Egyptian religion. We broke the covenant worship Egyptian religion. And we'll never have no power as a people if we trying to embrace an Egyptian culture. Okay, Hebrews, how about the Creator gave us a new culture that was different from that Amorite Egyptian culture that exists, where they express the creation through images and idols and all kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? Humans with crocodile heads and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the Egyptians wasn't no kosher or clean people. They was wicked and abominable too. And they had homosexuality and all that stuff. Even they gods, Seth and Horus, played with semen, sperm. You see what I'm saying? They was playing around with each other's sperm and stuff. Seth and Horus. You know what I'm saying? And Horus, mama, Isis is mad and stuff, man. So the Egyptians got wickedness going on. They ain't cool and they ain't kosher. And we broke the covenant fooling with the Egyptian religion. And I'm going to show this. So these dudes just trying to push us up and push us into that Egyptian culture in our last days while we trying to come into a heritage. It's trying to damn y'all, because they can't damn me. And they can't damn the people that understand what I'm trying to say. Like I said, you will never get this history from them camps. You know what I'm saying? Them camps, what we call the camps. And purple and all the little different alphabet names and stuff. Well, you ain't gonna never get no truth from them, because they teaching Jewish history. You see what I'm saying? They teaching Jewish history, and they been doing it for a long time, and they locked in false doctrines. You see what I'm saying? That's like now we can see that it never was any 10 lost tribes. You see what I'm saying? And that all the tribes in the Hebrews was around during King Hezekiah time. That's 7 years after the Syrian captivity. And we know the Hebrews was around during King Josiah time. And that the next event that would drive the Hebrews off the land is when the Babylonians came. You see what I'm saying? And we all went into Africa. I could prove that easily. So we don't have to embrace no Egyptian culture. You know, these dudes wicked. That's like this dude, if you would listen to him, they really ain't kicking no science. You know what I'm saying? They got some people watching a video channel because, you know, ignorance attract ignorance. You see what I'm saying? And if you listening to their message and think their message is legit and real, then, man, you caught up in the con game that the system trying to get them to perpetrate on us. You see what I'm saying? Because we broke the covenant, and the reason our enslavement come about is because we was fooling with the Egyptian religion. You know, the Creator had to send the Babylonians, the Ashkenazi, the Ashkenazi Scythians, the people from the north to chase us up off the promised land. You see what I'm saying? These people chase us up off the promised land. You know what I'm saying? During the Babylonian Wars, they made up the Chaldean army. You know what I'm saying? The Scythian is the code name for Ashkenazi in history. You see what I'm saying? Scythian is the code name for Ashkenazi in history. And when we said that we was going to worship the Egyptian religion and wouldn't come up off of it because the Egyptians had killed King Josiah. Killed King Josiah as soon as he the laying up from the Egyptian worship. You see what I'm saying? We was on Egyptian worship for 300 years. You know, a little longer than that, probably about 400 years total. We was on the Egyptian religion. You see what I'm saying? We was on the Egyptian religion when Jeroboam brung those 2 golden calves out from Egypt, and he was a descendant of Jeroboam, and he fled to Egypt to his relatives during Solomon's time. You see what I'm saying? If you go to First Kings, you know, I know this might sound like a repetitious video, and that all my videos gonna be basically about the same until you people start to understand that this is how we broke the covenant, by fooling with Egyptian religion. You see what I'm saying? By fooling with the Egyptian religion, the golden calf. You know, matter of fact, this same obelisk that we was enslaved with in Egypt, not no months, not no years before our enslavement, and not no years after. It could have been the same hour, the same day, you know what I'm saying, the same week, a month, or however long it took to construct this. But at the beginning of our enslavement in Egypt, around about 1450 BC, the Egyptians had this obelisk constructed, and it's in Central Park right now. It's called the Cleopatra Needle. You see what I'm saying? It's called the Cleopatra Needle. We would have seen that. Our ancestors would have seen that was in bondage in Egypt. And then this old wicked statue of this Pharaoh Necho II. This is a Satai king. He killed King Josiah as soon as King Josiah cleaned up all Israel from the Egyptian worship that was on us since Jeroboam, the northern kingdom. Since Jeroboam brung that mess out of Egypt, and the kingdom split around about 931 BC. And King Josiah cleaned it up started to clean it up around about 631 BC. 631 BC. All right, I'm going to show all this here. So this should make everybody back up off that Egyptian worship, or trying to be like the Egyptians. You see what I'm saying? Or have anything to do with Egyptian culture. You see what I'm saying? You should run from it. And if a person comes say, hey, this and this is about Egypt and we from Egypt, you should instantly know that this person don't have no knowledge, and that they working for the system that's trying to keep us enslaved. Now, you can't get no clearer than that. And if you choose to go embrace that Egyptian culture, know for sure that you're going against the Creator. Know for sure that you're going against the Creator, because our whole enslavement and troubles come about for messing with the Egyptian religion. You know what I'm saying? I can even show you that one of the prophets that pronounced our destruction during Prophet Jeremiah time, I think his name was Orijah. He ran into Egypt, and the Egyptians turned him back over to Jehoiakim, King Josiah's son, and they put him to death. See, they was on that Egyptian religion. The Egyptians had stalled their puppets on the line, King Josiah relatives, and they put us back on that Egyptian religion. And then when the Creator sent Ashkenazi, whose code name in history is Scythian, to chase us off the promised land, then that was the end. You know, we was in Africa all the way to our enslavement. You know what I'm saying? We was in Africa all the way until we was enslaved. But Ashkenazi is a son of Gomer. And Ashkenazi code name in history is Scythian. Ashkenazi code name in history is Scythian. Ashkenazi code name in history is Scythian. And the Scythians controlled the Chaldean nation. I mean, the Scythians controlled the Chaldean nation. So if you go look up the word Scythian, you're going to see that they going to tell you themselves that Ashkenazi, if you look up Ashkenazi, they going to tell you themselves that Ashkenazi is associated with the Scythians and from the Scythian region. You know what I'm saying? And that's like they tell you that the Scythians vanished from the history and stuff. Well, Scythians just merged into their real name Ashkenazi and became who they originally were. The Assyrians even had, the Scythians down as Ashkenazi. And I'm going to show this too. Also, the Sephardi groups who are older than the Ashkenazi in our land about 134 years, because Ashkenazi came in around about 588 BC is when they got in the land and chased us into Africa. The Sephardi groups were placed in our land in 722 BC, and the Sephardi groups Hebrew name is Sepharvim, and Sepharvim covers Sephardi, Sephardic, and Sephardim. All of them are Sepharvims, and they are the Babylonian scribes from Babylon. They was responsible for keeping Babylon's history, and they wrote all the history for Babylon and its gods and stuff, and they would look like this. And also they had trade routes all around the world since the Babylonian days, you know what I'm saying? And they had pigmentation, and they were settled in Samaria. And when we run into Africa, we will be leaving our heritage to them. Ashkenazi been dogging them out, but they work hand in hand. You see what I'm saying? These are the people that's responsible for the chronological administrative of the whole Western Hemisphere. How they do government, trade, and recording records and keeping everything, all your myths that's been preserved throughout ancient times, all that's been in their hands. The creation of words. Matter of fact, when we speak words and say words, well, they classified the meanings for those words and everything. So, we've been in a bundle. We've been in a bundle, and we let some terrible things come about when we broke the covenant. You see what I'm saying? And it's been going on for a long time, for about 2,500 years. As long as we broke the covenant and came up off the law, then it ain't been no righteousness in the world, and that all the religions express the Creator through idols and images, whether it's a crescent, or it's a cross, or it's a tree, or it's an animal. That's how they been expressing the Creator. They lost their ways. And the Amorites, who these people originally are, you know what I'm saying? They was, because they come from Babylon, and the Babylonians were founded by the Amorites, especially Sippar and Nippur is where these people come from. And that's where that word Sepharvim come from. You know what I'm saying? It's a long history, and it's a long science going on, Hebrews. But I'm going to show y'all something what's going on with the Egyptian culture that's put on us, that's trying to keep us entrapped in sin so we can stay in slavery. You see what I'm saying? Long as we doing the Egyptian culture, we gonna stay in slavery, and they pushing this more in the last days of those people's rule. You see what I'm saying? So they really trying to push the Egyptian culture on us, because this is where their power come from. And when they say black power, if you go look up the word in the meaning of black, it means death, destruction, no good, no accomplishment. And that was set up by those Babylonian scribes. So all these people working together and working hand in hand, especially when they trying to push an Egyptian culture. And this dude right here is so diabolical. He tried to rationalize it, and he real slick with his words and his conversation, and how he tried to present his con artistry is what I call it. Because if you pushing that Egyptian stuff, you is a con artist, because that's what caused us to lose our heritage. And these guys got to know that. It's why they being enriched, you know what I'm saying? And they selling out. That's really selling us down the drain. You see what I'm saying? All right. If you go to the First Kings, you'll see that First Kings chapter 11, you'll see that Solomon was after this brother named Jeroboam, who was from the tribe of Ephraim. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and Ephraim of Zerudah, Solomon's servant, whose mother name was Zurah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. You know, and he would go to Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And stay in Egypt in to Solomon's death. And Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and arose, and, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shawshank. You know, that's gonna be his relatives, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. Okay, if you go back in time to Genesis, you know, if you go back in time to Genesis, to Genesis 41. Genesis 41. If you go to Genesis 41, you're going to see that Joseph was given Asenath after he done answered Pharaoh's dreams and stuff, and Pharaoh was satisfied, and Pharaoh seen that his magicians couldn't answer none of that. You see, the Egyptians did trade with the people in Mesopotamia. They did trade with the people in Turkey, and they even say that they even did the people trade with the people in China. You see what I'm saying? So us having that covenant right there, Pharaoh would have had a problem with that. And each Pharaoh gonna look after the other one, knowing that he ain't there. Then he gonna try to cause some problems for us that would last until the next Pharaoh's term and stuff. And all of them would be wicked, as I've shown that Pharaoh didn't worship the Creator. You see what I'm saying? So these dudes be trying to cast the Bible down. They be trying to talk bad about the Tanakh, but they don't know that our ancestors wrote the Tanakh. And the truth that they wrote, we gonna be able to see today. You see what I'm saying? So our ancestors really clearing this up, because the truth is in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? It's not the New Testament, but the Old Testament. All right. If you get to Genesis 41, I thought I was there already. Genesis 41, you're going to see it says, and Pharaoh called Joseph, named Zaphenath Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, and Joseph went out all over the land of Egypt. All right, and then if you get to verse 50, this 41 verse 50, and unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bore unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for he said, he had made me to forget all my toil and all my father's house. You know, the Egyptians was going to be giving him everything, knowing that he was a Hebrew, and that, you know, Abraham had once stayed there and had dealings with the Pharaoh. So the Pharaoh and them going to know that we the Hebrews, as I've shown in the other videos, how the Egyptians knew that we were Hebrews and that we was a different people than the Egyptian was. You know, all right. So you see, the next son is Genesis 41 verse 50, and Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for Yah had said, he had made me to forget all my toil in my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for Yah had caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. All right, so them 2 sons born by Joseph in that Egyptian Hamite woman, you know, when Joseph out taking care of the business, we know that the granddaddy gonna probably say, oh, your daddy ain't right, and who he believe in ain't right. And this is what we Egyptians believe in, and we got along. You know what I'm saying? How the granddaddy gonna try to put his old ancient history and culture down on the kids and stuff. Well, that could be seen in, you know, Ephraim, when Jeroboam came out of Egypt fleeing from Solomon. Like I had said, you know, one time in one of the videos, you know, we was messed up all the way from the time that Prophet Moses passed around about 1406 BC. You know, we left Egypt around about 1446 BC, somewhere like that. You know, and then well, you know what I'm saying, we left Egypt, you know what I'm saying, about that time. All right, Joshua, you know, come on, and then, you know, 1406, and, you know what I'm saying, he passed around about 1375 BC. All right, from the time that Joshua passed and us going into the promised land, we start to mess around with them Amorite, Canaanite religions and start parlaying with them folks. See, we had a new culture by the Creator. We was given a new culture that wasn't like the other people culture, that idol worshiping culture. See, that's like our father prophet Abraham. When he was around in the Mesopotamia area, the Amorites controlled the land and everything, and everybody was wicked around him. And it's like he was the only one that worshiped the Creator, and he didn't even have the covenant instructions we had, the new culture we had. He just believed in the Creator and trusted the Creator, going all the way back, to our forefather with Seth. We had a line of believers, and Abraham believed, Isaac believed, and Prophet Moses believed. And they were surrounded by the Canaanite culture and the Egyptian culture, and these Hebrews still believed in the Creator. It would have been easy for them to merge over to the other folks' culture that was around them. No, they stayed strong, and they didn't embrace or worship none of the Egyptian religion or culture. Okay, the Egyptians, like I said, after Pharaoh would have seen Joseph answer his prayer, he gonna immediately get him Asenath, and that's like in one of the videos I showed, some of the brothers be getting beat up when they be interpreting the Jewish myths instead of doing research. They'll quote Jewish history, you know what I'm saying? And the Jewish history is not accurate, it's wrong, because it's they spin on our history to keep our heritage hid. You see what I'm saying? Well, when we was in Egypt in bondage in the Egyptian days, when we was there doing Prophet Joseph and Moses in them days, we was we made bricks. Our captivity when we was in Egypt, we made bricks for the Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? The Egyptian had brick houses. It's basically gonna be where the brick houses come from, and we made bricks for the Egyptians and constructing their houses and architects and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And as you read in Genesis, it talk about the bricks. You know what I'm saying? That Pharaoh wanted us to keep making. He probably had a contract with us to produce so many bricks, and the Egyptians gave us straw and everything, and they stopped giving us the straw and started dogging us out and forced us to make the bricks. You know what I'm saying? And we was making bricks to build the treasure houses and stuff. And all this was, during our captivity time. And then as you read, you know what I'm saying, you will see that the Egyptians called us Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? And Moses made a distinction between, you know what I'm saying, us and the Egyptians, and it come to pass, this is Exodus 2, and it come to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked upon their burden and spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren, you know what I'm saying, and Moses knocked him off. You know what I'm saying? All right, and then Exodus 1:19, you know what I'm saying, you'll see that the Hebrews was told, but because they had hospitals, and when the Hebrew women went there for delivery with assistance with the Egyptians' knowledge, it was probably more comfortable for them to have the babies in the Egyptians' establishment, that those Egyptian nurses was going to kill us, and the Hebrew women would have their babies before they get in there. But as you read, they would call us, you know what I'm saying, Hebrews, even the women. You know what I'm saying? So we was Hebrews, and they knew we was Hebrews. And if you go to, let's see, Genesis 39. Yeah, so we was the Hebrews, and the Egyptians know we was the Hebrews, And so, every time Moses went in unto Pharaoh, he would ask Pharaoh to let the children Israel go, that they can worship, you know what I'm saying, the God of the Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? He made a distinction, you know what I'm saying, with saying that. Alright? And then check this out. This is what the Creator said.
And Elohim said unto Moses, when thou goest in unto to return into Egypt, to see that thou do all the wonders before Pharaoh which I have put in thee in hand, but I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, this said the Elohim Yah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. You see what I'm saying? So we had a new culture. We had a new culture that we was finna get, or that we had got from the Creator, and that new culture was to extinguish the Egyptian culture and the Babylonian culture. See, if we in the promised land doing our culture that the Creator gave us, then the Egyptians can't come across. The Egyptians can't come across the promised land. They can't come across here to do trade. You know, back in the days, they didn't have no airplanes where they can fly, you know what I'm saying, past us and get over to Mesopotamia and do trade with their people, or sail boats all around Africa. You see what I'm saying? And then trade with their other people. So they wasn't finna do that. So the Egyptians put us on their gods. You know, like I said, Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. So if Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, the priests, the whole institution that the Egyptians represented didn't believe in the Creator. Alright, so then they gonna put that golden calf on us to make us stumble and fall, so we don't do that new culture that the Creator gave us that would have extinguished the Egyptians out. You see what I'm saying? Say we was finna put the Egyptians to sleep. And you Hebrews don't even know that. See, we had Egypt in our hands. We had the life and death of Egypt in our hands if we would have did the covenant. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. You ain't gonna get this history from none of them other organizations, because they don't even have a clue. Alright, we would have extinguished the Egyptian everything just by doing the covenant. We would have got rid of the Babylonian culture just by doing the covenant, because the Egyptian and the Babylonian culture needed each other. They shared the same gods. See what I'm saying? Alright, and this is what Moses said, and thou shalt say unto him, the Elohim Yah of the Hebrews had sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, thereunto what is not here. See, Pharaoh, he didn't want us to worship the Creator. You see what I'm saying? He didn't want us to worship the Creator. And that's what it was about. You see what I'm saying? And it was about that they didn't want us to go worship the Creator. You see what I'm saying? The Creator of the universe, because then we would have extinguished the Egyptians lights out. We would have put their lights out. Alright, if you go to the book of Jeremiah, this is in our last days. You know, the Creator had sent for Ashkenazi. You know, the Creator sent for Ashkenazi and told Ashkenazi to come on in there and get us. Go on and get us up off the land. And Ashkenazi made up the Chaldean army. Like I said, the Ashkenazi code name in history is Scythian. It's Scythian. And they made up the Chaldean army. And when they came to get us, it was over with. You know what I'm saying? When Prophet Jeremiah was told to the people from the north would come down, and that the Creator sent for the people from the north to get us. You know what I'm saying? And then it was over with. You know, if you look at this right here, and then I'm gonna go into us going into Egypt, saying that we were going to Egypt. You know, we did a lot of foul stuff on the promised land. We even told the prophet Jeremiah, while we was chased off the land, to go ask the Creator what we should do. We was even playing with the Creator on our way into Egypt. When we told the prophet Jeremiah to go ask the Creator what we should do, you know, because them folks done burnt the whole Jerusalem up. It wasn't nowhere to stay. We had to get up off the land. And the prophet Jeremiah took off for 10 days, and then he come back, and then he told us that the Creator say, sit still. Go back to the promised land, and it's going to be all right. And we said, no, he didn't say that. The Creator didn't say that. And then we ducked on off into Egypt, and that was the last you ever heard of us. You didn't hear of us no more to the transatlantic slave trade until we done been through the bondage and at the last part of it, and trying to wake up and get this slavery up off of us. We ain't gonna never get it up off of us believing in the Egyptian religion and that Egyptian culture that them individuals trying to push on us, because it was the Egyptian culture that caused our enslavement. All right, in the book of Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah father was Halakah. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back even to Jeremiah days, prophet Josiah days, King Josiah days, because prophet Jeremiah was around in King Josiah days, and we're gonna see that he cleaned up the whole Egyptian religion that Jeroboam had brung, and then the Egyptians put him to death, come out and killed him, and put the weak relatives on the throne that would take us back to the Egyptian religion, and then Ashkenazi come in and chase us off the land, and then we go into Africa and we sit till the slavery trade started, and here we are, plain and simple as that. It's that easy. It ain't even hard no more. You see what I'm saying? This history by the Israelite Brotherhood. All right. First Jeremiah. Then the word of Jeremiah the son of Halakah of the priests that were in Anath in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Elohim came in the days of Josiah the son of Amon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. So prophet Jeremiah gonna come around in the 13th reign of King Josiah's reign. You know what I'm saying? All right, as you read this, that's why I wouldn't be playing with our heritage like them people doing, like them individuals doing, because you're gonna have to answer to the Creator. Because if the Creator knew prophet Jeremiah before he was born, then that should tell you that you going back to the Creator, and he gonna know what you done did. You see what I'm saying? Because prophet Jeremiah was born of an earthly mother and father, but the Creator knew him before he was born. You see what I'm saying? And as you read down, and it says, and it came also in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, both of them. All right, wicked. Let me see. The son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Then the word of the Elohim came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou comest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. And we know that everything prophet Jeremiah done said in the past and came to pass. I know history in detail, and all this history and them prophecies that he spoke about, I done researched all of them. And that's another thing, Hebrews. Me teaching this history, I ain't been to no accredited colleges that the enemy done set up to misdirect you into not knowing your heritage. You see, you can't go to the colleges and to they spiritual schools and learn truth. You see what I'm saying? That ain't gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? All right, so this history, we got to pray to the Creator for, and the Creator gonna show you and put you on the right path. All right, but you see, prophet Jeremiah was born, and the Creator knew him. All right, and then said I, O Elohim, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But Elohim said unto me, say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go also that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee thou shalt speak. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, said the Elohim. Then the Elohim put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Elohim said unto me, behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. See, I have set thee this day, set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down and to build and to plant. Moreover, the word of the Elohim came unto me, saying, Jeremiah, what seest thou? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Then said the Elohim unto me, thou hast seen well, for I will hasten my word to perform it. And the word of the Elohim came unto me, saying the second time, saying, what seest thou? And I said, I see a seething pot. Could have been a hollow projection or something, but he was seeing it. And the face thereof is toward the north. Then the Elohim said unto me, out of the north an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. For lo, I will call all the families of the kingdoms of the north, said the Elohim, and they shall come, and they shall set everyone his throne at the entering of at the entering of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all the walls thereof, and round about, and against all the cities of Judah. And sure enough, it's that way today. Because them folks came. You see what I'm saying? Them Scythians. Those are the people from the north that destroyed Assyria. When the Babylonians destroyed Assyria in 12 BC, they came immediately for us. And this is what we said, because we was on the Egyptian religion. Like I said, the Egyptians had killed King Josiah, and after he had cleaned the Egyptian religion up. If you go to Chronicles 34, I'm going to try to get the Jews' history in too. But this really about them Egyptian dudes trying to push that Egyptian culture on us. Trying to put that Egyptian culture on us and keep us enslaved. And keep us messed up. Especially this wicked dude. He real wicked and volatile. And he tried to explain his wickedness in an intellectual way. They soothing and cunning. They just like the magicians, the Egyptian magicians. You see what I'm saying? These dudes is wicked and diabolical, and you can't listen to them. If anything come out their mouth talking about Egypt, you should run for the hills. Hide, run and hide, because they trying to keep you in slavery. They getting paid for that. They getting paid to teach that Egyptian stuff and to keep you in trap, because it was the Egyptian culture that enslaved us. You see what I'm saying? And let me show this real quick, because this need to be seen before this camera, you know what I'm saying, or this phone go off. All right. If you go to Jeremiah chapter 44, this is our last days on the land. And then I'm going to go back to King Josiah, who cleaned it up just before we went to the Egyptian religion. All right. If you go to Jeremiah chapter 34, this is in 588 BC. This is in 588 BC. This is what we said going into Africa, leaving the promised land, because the Chaldeans had chased us off. You know, the people from the north. All right. Then this is Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 15, 16, 17, and 18 was a state of mind. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by a great multitude, even all the people that dwell in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, as for the word that thou hast spoken to us in the name of the Elohim, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do so whatever thing go forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of food, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. Ain't that something, boy? That's real evil right there. That's evil what we said, and that's the Queen of Heaven right there. And as you see on these dudes page and YouTube site, they all standing behind Egyptian signs. They all standing behind Egyptian symbols. You see what I'm saying? They all still calling themselves pharaohs, said even name themselves after the Egyptian pharaohs. Well, it was the same Egyptian religion that caused our enslavement. You see what I'm saying? It was the Egyptian religion that caused our enslavement. We broke the covenant going to Egyptian religion. And this is what we said in our last days. And then the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 34, King Josiah, after he cleaned the Egyptian religion up, the Egyptians would kill him, and we would go to the Egyptian religion in the book of Jeremiah. You know, as I showed, Prophet Jeremiah was around in the 13th year of King Josiah's reign. So after King Josiah cleaned up everything, the prophet Jeremiah was around. And then the Egyptians killed him, and then put the relatives on the throne. And then we go back to Egyptian religion, and then we go into Africa, and we never heard of. Our whole history stopped, and the whole annals of history stopped about us. The people that went into Africa to worship the Egyptian religion, their whole history stopped. You ain't heard nothing else about us. All right. This is 2 Chronicles 34. This is King Josiah. He's a prophecy that was prophesied. He's a king that was of prophecy to get rid of the Jeroboam religion, and that was in 931 BC. All right, if you go to this gonna be First Kings chapter 13, and this is after Jeroboam set those two golden calves up. First Kings 12:28. Therefore the king took counsel and made two calves of gold, and said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right, well, let me show this too, because after we had left Egypt, that mixed multitude of Egyptians left with us. That mixed multitude of Egyptians left with us during Moses' time, and that mixed multitude of Egyptians gonna leave with us, and then we would throw that golden calf up. We would throw the golden calf up. We would throw the golden calf up, and then Moses would clean it up, and then when we get into the promised land, and then we was enslaved for a little while, and then when Samuel and Saul and King David come about, we start doing the covenant for about 130 years. Is all we got in. And then King David passed and Solomon come on the throne, and then we was on Solomon passed, and then we was on that Egyptian religion for 300 years. 300 years. All right, if you go to Exodus 34. All right, let's get Exodus 12. You know, after Joseph answered Pharaoh's dream, he's given the priest of On's, daughter. They have two kids. Egypt kick us out. The mixed multitude lead with us, and this is Exodus 12. 38. And the mixed multitude went also up with them, flocks and herds, and very much cattle. Them Egyptians come with us. Moses go up to get the law, and we throw the golden calves up. You know, we throw the golden calves up. That's Exodus 32. We throw the golden calves up. You know what I'm saying? Those mixed Egyptians was with us, you know. And, you know, we throw the golden calves up, you know. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto us, Make us gods which shall go before us. For this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we know not what become of him. And Aaron got their little earrings and fashioned and made that same golden calf. The same golden calf. The same golden calf. So we will be free of that. After we, you know, Moses and Joshua, then we get enslaved by the Amorites for messing with their culture and their religion. Then King Samuel born, then King Saul, then King David, and then King David passed away. Solomon come on. Solomon mess up big time. And then we go back to the Egyptian religion for 300 years. Then King Josiah is born. And then he started to clean the Egyptian religion up. This is around about 631 BC. But the Egyptians, Jeroboam brung it out, and this prophet said this. This is 1 Kings chapter 13. And behold, there came a man of Yah out of Judah by the word of the Elohim unto Bethel. And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar in the word of the Elohim, and said, O altar, altar, this saith the Elohim, Behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name. Upon thee shall he burn, offer the priests in the high places that burn incenses upon thee, and the men's bones shall be burnt upon thee. And sure enough, King Josiah is born 300 some years later, and we will be looking for King Josiah. And that's why all those Messiah stories that come by, that was created as myths, that they done turned into religions that also come from Egypt also. You see what I'm saying? And the people we abandoned our heritage to created demigod worship, because they was the controllers of Babylon history and its gods, and they had demigod worship there. So it's quite natural that they gonna create demigod worship off of our culture, and those are the people that we abandon our heritage to. See what I'm saying? Them Babylonian scribes. the Sephardi groups, the Sephardims. All right, this is in 640 BC. You know, this is 8 years after King Josiah was born. You understand? He come on the throne. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 1 and 30 years. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Elohim, and walked in the ways of David his father, and declined neither to go to the left hand or the right. For in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after the Yah of David his father. And in the 12th year he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places, in the groves, in the carved images, in the molten images. You see what I'm saying? And they also had that ritual prostitution, you know what I'm saying? And because them Sodomites was in the land, and them gonna be them Amorite folks, you know what I'm saying? All right, and they break down the altars of Balaam in the presence, in the images that were on the high above. And he cut down the groves in the carved images, in the molten images. He break in pieces and made dust of them, and strewed it upon the graves of them that had sacrificed unto them. And he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars, and cleansed Judah and Jerusalem, just like that prophecy had said 300 years before he was born. And so did he in the cities of Manasseh, Ephraim, Simon, even unto Naphtali, with their mattucks round about, with their farming equipment. All right, so these Hebrews is around way after the Assyrian captivity. You see what I'm saying? He just named them, and then he cleaned up the whole Israel, which showed that it wasn't no 10 lost tribes, and that those are Jewish myths. And when he had break down the altars and the groves, and had beaten the graven images into powder, and cut down all the idols throughout all the land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem. So he just cleaned up Israel of the Jeroboam religion that was there. You see what I'm saying? And then they gonna go find the book, and prophet Jeremiah, father Halakai, find the book, the covenant, and give it to King Josiah. And King Josiah sent them to Jerusalem to ask this priestess what's gonna become of us. And the priestess said, Huldah said that it was over with. You know what I'm saying? That it was over with. That we was done and cooked. And King Josiah tried his best. And then the Egyptians come out and killed him, because they tried to come across the promised land after he done cleaned it up, knowing he ain't gonna let them come across. And then they killed him, and put his relatives on the throne that took us back to the Egyptian religion. And then we go into Africa to worship the Egyptian religion in the Sahara. And that's where we was enslaved from. And that's why come we here. You know, and then that's why come, you know, also let me show this too. The Sephardi Jews. The Sephardi Jews is only two set of Jews, Ashkenazi and the Sephardi groups. Ashkenazi and the Sephardi groups. The Sephardi groups gonna be the oldest, and they was placed in our land in 722 BC by the king of Assyria, and they was Babylonian scribes. See, a lot of Hebrews don't understand the significance of this and the seriousness of this. Some Babylonian scribes that kept Babylon history for thousands of years got our heritage. You see what I'm saying? And they got our heritage, and they start writing books on what is Hebrew history and what is not. Even some of the books that y'all think is holy, they wrote. Like all the books wrote during the Greek times, the Maccabees, the Apocryphal books, and the New Testament. All those are books of their creation. The only book we have is the Tanakh. That's the only book we have, and they translated that because when we broke the covenant for Egyptian religion, we couldn't go into Egypt and do the covenant that Moses gave us. Impossible. The Egyptians wasn't even having that. You see what I'm saying? The Egyptians wasn't having that. But the Sephardi group's name is Sephardim. Sephardim is the Hebrew word for Sephardi, and Ashkenaz. That's their name. You know, that's their name in history. It's Sephardim. Alright. Sephardim cover Sephardi, Sephardic, and Sephardim. They say that the word cipher comes from their very word and their very name, because they were scribes and they're responsible for Babylon history. And a lot of people don't know that they took Egypt over. You see what I'm saying? They controlled Egypt. They controlled all the empires through proxy. And I'm gonna have to explain their history too. But these dudes is major wicked, trying to push an Egyptian culture on us, knowing that the Egyptian culture is what caused our enslavement. And Prophet Moses even said that we'll be taken to Egypt in ships. If you go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, everybody know the curses. Everybody should know the curses. If you don't know the curses, then you need to go study them, because the curses is how you know that we the Hebrews, because no other people on the face of this earth fit these curses like we do. You know what I'm saying? That's like, the Elohim even said that we would, break the covenant, but ain't nobody been under no curses like this. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and then eyes shall look and fare with them all day long, for there shall be no might in their hand. We know all them curses. Thou shalt build, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. You know what I'm saying? That the Elohim will smite thee with madness, blindness, astonishment of heart, and thou shalt grope as noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness, because thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled. You know what I'm saying? Man, these curses, man, there's so many curses, you know what I'm saying? And the Elohim will bring thee in the king which thou shalt set over thee unto another nation, and thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations where the Elohim shall lead thee. And these are the real curses that you can see right now today. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, and thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity in prisons and jails. And look, and the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Everybody know that every ethnic group, soon as they come to America, the first place they come is to our community and set up and take over all the stores across this whole United Egypt. It is occupied, our neighborhood is occupied by foreigners. You know what I'm saying? And then it rise up above us. We send their kids to college. Them little corner stores selling all that bad health products and all that stuff. Let me see. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon and overtake thee. See, we even ran into Africa trying to get away from the Creator in the curses. If you go to Genesis, 2 Kings 25, verse 26, you will see this is, what I'm saying, we was chased off the land by Ashkenazi, the Chaldeans, and all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and came to Egypt, for they was afraid of the Chaldeans. That's Ashkenazi, chasing us off the land, because we said that we wanted to do the Egyptian religion. And sure enough, we was chased into Egypt, Africa, and that's where we lost our heritage at. You know what I'm saying? So these dudes trying to push that Egyptian stuff is pure mad, and don't go for that stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because the Creator even said we'll break the covenant and he'll blot our heritage out. But look, we was took to this Egypt right here in ships. Look, and the Elohim shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, and thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Did nobody come redeem us? Did nobody come redeem us from our bondage? And the obelisk that we was enslaved under in Egypt is here in New York. They call it the Cleopatra Needle. And the King Necho II, who killed King Josiah, statue is here too. And then they got pyramids, fake pyramids they done build. They got so much Egyptian symbolism in America. I don't know what started so much of it. You know what I'm saying? And the Masonic lodges are the people who come set it up. Well, okay, we was taken to this Egypt in ships, just like the Creator said, in ships. We was taken to this Egypt in ships for fooling with that Egypt. For fooling with that Egypt, we was taken to a whole nother Egypt in ships. You see what I'm saying? And we lost our heritage. And they trying to keep our heritage lost by keeping that Egyptian stuff on us, trying to keep you people who don't know and who don't trust in the Creator to worship Egyptian culture, and that's what got us enslaved. And if we stay down that path, we ain't gonna never get free. And the Creator gonna be always against us. If we following Egyptian culture, the Creator gonna be against us. So we can't do that. And these dudes is getting rich. Why you think the devil, you don't never hear about the devil coming up in there bothering those dudes worshiping that Egyptian stuff? They don't never get bothered. They don't never do nothing to them. They ain't even on the radar. They ain't even classified as a hate group. And they do more talking bad about the white folks than anything. You see what I'm saying? So these dudes are slick. And they done found out a good way to get in and con the beast and us at the same time. You see what I'm saying? They ain't nothing but some con artists. And they some intelligent con artists. And we got to wake up from that mess, man. We can't be following them dudes. Look, this the Egyptian system right here. Yeah, this it. This it. It's the one Prophet Moses said we will be taken to in ships as swift as an eagle flies. That's it. A people whose language we wouldn't understand. That's why we create slang and talk in a semi-another language. We done created another English. Yeah, but this it. And Hebrews, those Egyptians were gay too. Them Egyptians practice gay stuff. You know what I'm saying? They gods, Horus and Seth played with each other's semen and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now how more wicked can you get playing with another male semen? You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing but a slick gay story and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, the same stuff that, y'all say that the Egyptians ain't did is really what they did do. And like I said, that them white folks is real slick because they let you see them black images on the wall and then say the Egyptians ain't black. The Egyptians ain't black. And then we looking at the wall and say the Egyptians is black because we see that they black. And then we say we the Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? The devil just tricked you that easy. And that's how they get down. You know what I'm saying? First they'll deny and say, that ain't you. That ain't you. And then you going to run to it full-fledged. And that's just what you did with that Egyptian stuff. Not knowing that that's how we broke the covenant. And that's what caused our enslavement. See what I'm saying? So it's easy to trick over. The Israelite Brotherhood not going for that. And I'm going to tell all the Hebrews. If you a Hebrew Israelite, you understand what I'm saying. If you still searching, then you ain't going to understand what I'm saying. But the Egyptian culture is what caused us to lose our heritage. And like I say, the white folks slick. They say, them ain't no black folks. Talking about them Egyptians that you can see on the wall. They ain't black. Them not no black folks. Them not no black folks. That's what they said. And then we see them and we say, yes, it is some black people. Them is some black people on the walls of Egypt. And then we say, that's us. They got to be talking about that's us. You know what I'm saying? And then we done embrace the Egyptian culture. Now you're doomed. Now you're enslaved. Now you're in the mental slavery. Now you finna be in the physical slavery. Because if you're in the mental slavery, you just as much as in physical slavery. So listening to these dudes, young Pharaoh, if you listen to this dude, his whole argument talking about another man or who came to see him and who didn't, them dudes don't know none. Them dudes wicked. And then this king of the wickedness right here, this dude right here, you know what I'm saying? He done went to the Pharaoh temples and done took an oath to uphold their wickedness for the rest of his life. How more wicked can you get than that? You can't get no wicked than that. You know what I'm saying? He done took an oath to hold the Egyptian culture for the rest of his life. And so what he's saying, he taking y'all down with him. If he going down, he taking y'all Negroes down with him too. You know what I'm saying? All right, Hebrews, this your life jacket. This is the life jacket on the sinking ship. You know what I'm saying? Get you one because the ship is going down. They going down. You know what I'm saying? And if you on the ship with them, you're going to drown with them.
But the Israelite Brotherhood is throwing you a life jacket, a life vest. You know what I'm saying? Shalom to the Hebrews. We ain't gonna be tricked no more. Don't be believing in these guys' message. And other Hebrews need to make some videos chanting these dudes down, because the other Hebrews in them camps be using Jewish history, the history that the Jews created to keep us off and out of our heritage. You know, the myths like the 10 lost tribes myth, you know, or the Hebrews went into Africa in 70 AD because Herod temple was destroyed. You know, Herod was an Edomite that built the temple. He didn't refurbish that temple. He built a brand new one. And that Jesus fella prayed in it, calling it his daddy house. That junk so wicked. And we know that John Heineke's converted all the Edomites to Jewishness in 130 BC. To by the time Herod was born and built this temple, they was all Edomites. That's why come Jesus didn't know that the Hebrews went into Africa to worship the Egyptian religion. You see what I'm saying? And he didn't know to look for them when he went to Egypt, because he wasn't them. And when you Hebrews be saying, those are the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not. Y'all don't know that Ashkenazi was in the land since the Babylonian Wars, and the Ashkenazi was just starting to get books around about the Roman times. And because the Persians beat the Babylonians, allowed the exiles to come home, like 1% who sinned so bad that the Greeks got them, destroyed them within 98 years. I got videos showing that, how the Greeks destroyed the exiles from Babylon. They didn't make it over into a New Testament time. All right, then the Greeks get the books from the people in the land, because the Ptolemies and the Lichimers are claiming a Hebrew heritage, and there's no opposition to that. You know, the whole royalty of the Ptolemies are claiming a Jewish heritage, and them people brought the Edomites from the Promised Land, and they would translate our books in what's called the Septuagint. And from there, you know what I'm saying, you get the other books. But it wasn't no Hebrews in the past the Greek times. They was destroyed because they was mixing. You know, they couldn't pass heritage over to the people in the land. And it was a whole bunch of people in the Promised Land during them times. A whole bunch of people in the Promised Land during them times. And when we had went into Africa, tricked out our heritage to worship the Egyptian religion, we had been in Africa since 588 BC. Since 588 BC to the book of Malachi, the last book, 420 BC, we would have been in Africa 168 years. And by the time the Greeks show up in 332 BC, we would have been in Africa 556 years. 256 years. We would have been in Egypt, Africa, Sahara. And it's a known fact that we didn't come out of Africa when the Persians defeated the Greeks and allowed the exiles to come home, that 1% who the Greeks destroyed. You have the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. Malachi gonna be the last book. And after that, the Greeks show up to get rid of the exiles who was passing heritage over to the people in the land, the enemies. It was about 30 nations pulled up when the exiles come back home. It was about 30 other nations living there and other peoples, and that the exiles who had Israel among them could only live in Jerusalem. And, you know, they got destroyed. They got destroyed because they started to mix with the people in the land, passing our heritage off. And they was up under covenant law not to mix. Whereas the majority of us, the 99%, had went into Africa to worship the African religions. And we are the last. And if you wasn't taken from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade, you are not a Hebrew. It's impossible. No Hebrews miss the curses. The Creator not going to miss his mark. The Creator not going to miss his mark. And all those other people that's claiming our heritage come from the Randanites. The Randanite Jewish guilds that date from the Babylonian times, traded all around the world, and they made Jews in China
India, Malaysia, and the Western Hemisphere, and Europe. They made Jews everywhere. In Africa, black Jews, white Jews, Chinese Jews, wherever they went and did trade, they made Jews. And right now today, we say, them our brothers. Them our brothers spread to the four corners of the earth. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all sleep. Them ain't our brothers. They ain't been through no curses. And we only spread through the four corners of the earth because the military is everywhere. The United States military everywhere. And we in the military and we still in captivity. So we still spread around. See what I'm saying? Alright, Hebrews, you can't be listening to these dudes. This dude real slick. He real slick. He real slick and cunning. He a evil individual. Like, when I see him, it's like I'm looking at a devil. And y'all be talking about the white devils. I'm looking at a black devil. You know what I'm saying? Talking about follow some Egyptian culture. He might as well be Satan himself. Talking about follow the Egyptian culture. We can't follow no Egyptian culture because that's what caused us to lose the covenant. That caused us to lose the covenant. Shalom. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. And like I say, you ain't going to get this message from those other organizations because they be teaching Jewish history. And Jewish history going to be any myths and all the lies that was created after we abandoned our heritage. You know, we didn't go into Africa to write books about a covenant that we abandoned. So our history stopped and we was cut off and we cut ourselves off. So don't be listening to these dudes. These dudes is major wicked. Major wicked. Shalom to the Hebrews. This Israel been Israel for the Israelite Brotherhood.